Yesterday morning, I posted in Facebook, and the picture I posted says, God gives where He finds empty hands. I repeat, God gives where He finds empty hands. And then the caption below it says, you will never truly appreciate God's providence if you always feel self-sufficient. And the readings for today, I believe, have the same message for all of us. That the only time we can truly appreciate God's providence is when we empty ourselves and when we feel so empty of ourselves. And in the first reading, a very, very beautiful story. The story of Joseph. Well, we know the story that he was sold, no? And syempre, akala ng mga kapatid niya, matagal na siyang patay. And then, there was a famine. And to their surprise, his brothers met this Joseph. He was alive. And he would say, it was for the sake of saving lives that God has sent me here. And if we look at the story of the first reading, when did his brothers truly appreciate God's providence? When they were empty. In a time of need. Joseph was with them. And yet, they did not need him, most probably. That is why they sold him. And when they were in need, emptied, there was a famine, it's where God has manifested His providence to them. And I believe, and as you continue to read this, we believe that his brothers would soon appreciate God's providence. And in the gospel also, as Jesus sends his apostles, he would admonish them not to bring anything with them. Why? Because there will be a tendency that in the mission, the apostles will feel self-sufficient. And that is a great danger. And they will never truly appreciate God's providence if they feel self-sufficient. Sabi ni Jesus, huwag kayong magdadala ng kahit ano so that you will always be reminded of God's providence. Because a person who always feels self-sufficient, paano ba i-define yung taong always feels sufficient? Yung parang taong laging full na parang walang kailangan. That person will never appreciate God's providence. I remember one mass in the bishop's residence, I used the image of a glass because there is a song in the seminary entitled, if you remember, Buksan. And it says there in the second paragraph after the chorus, it says, basong may tubig, lagyan mong muli, aapaw dahil wala nang silid. So, kung tayo yung baso na punong-puno tayo, we feel self-sufficient, we will never truly appreciate God's providence. And so, that is the first message of the readings of today. We pray always, especially at this time when it seems the goal of people is to be self-sufficient. That everything you need is there. Well, maganda naman yun. No? But to always feel self-sufficient, there is a problem. Because we lose sight and we lose appreciation of God's providence. Parang tayo yung baso na punong-puno sa sarili. Laging umaapaw yan kasi wala nang silid. Wala nang silid yung providence ng Diyos sa atin. So even if we have everything we need, we always have to remember God's providence. Finally, for us Filipinos, there is what we call a popular saying, blessing in disguise. Ewan ko kung ilang beses nyo nang narinig yan. Parang gas-gas na yan eh. No? Blessing in disguise. Ito yung mga pangyayari, karanasan sa buhay, na at present, lalong-lalo na yung mga mahihirap or painful situations, na parang ngayon, wala kang nakikitang blessing. Parang wala kang nakikitang maganda. Pero after some time, meron palang biyaya. And I go back to the very first reading. Itong ibinenta ng mga kapatid ni Joseph, probably Joseph was thinking of himself, being sold by my brothers. Can you just imagine, ibenta ka ng kapatid mo? Walang grasya doon. Walang blessing doon. In fact, most probably would have felt it was a curse. It's the worst situation of his life. But you see at the end of the first reading, Joseph, baga, nakuha niya yung blessing. He discovered the blessing within it. And he would say, it is for the sake of saving lives that God has sent me here. Parang sinasabi niya sa kapatid niya, hinayaan ng Diyos na ibenta niyo ko dahil ang biyayan niyan is saving lives. Kumbaga may nakatagong biyaya sa pagbebenta nyo sa akin. And it's a good invitation for all of us. Just like Joseph, there are seemingly countless experiences we encounter in life. Parang wala kang nakikitang grasya, wala kang nakikitang blessing, wala kang nakikitang maganda. But there is. We only have to discover the blessing that is hidden even in painful experiences. Because we always believe there is what we call blessing in disguise. At present, it may be bad, it may be difficult, it may be painful, but behind it, there is also a blessing hidden.